Welcome to Worship at Home for Northampton Methodist Circuit. My name's Jenny Brooks and I'm a local preacher in the circuit. This message is for the week of the 9th of March, the first week in Lent. And reading the material for this week's worship made me think more deeply about the strong connection between Moses and his leadership of the people of Israel and this part of Jesus' ministry. 40 days in the desert for Jesus probably reflects the 40 years that we know the people wandered in the desert on their escape from Egypt, a time that felt difficult and lonely, and sometimes there was not enough to eat. What probably helps us make more sense of this part of the story of Jesus is that all four of the gospel writers were, in their different ways and styles, attempting to convince their readers that Jesus is most certainly, definitely, the Messiah. Luke, Matthew, and Mark do this by emphasising all the relevant connections between what happened to Moses and the people when they first made their covenant with God and what's happening in the life of Jesus. In a similar way to last week's readings about the Transfiguration, Moses having a shining face, Luke tells us about Jesus' shining face. He's going up a mountain and the clouds coming over him. In this reading from Luke about the temptations, Jesus is experiencing the questions that at one level or another we all face. How do I live my life? What is the right thing to do with my skills and gifts? Can I take shortcuts to making things easier? Or is the long journey of experience and hard work part of what I need to do? Jesus' pushback to his temptation by Satan is to quote Moses in Deuteronomy 8, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Another reference to what's happening in the desert when Moses is leading the people. And God provided manna, a basic emergency food, a type of bread that disappeared in the midday sun. Emergency food when nothing else was available. The picture that Luke gives us is of Jesus being hungry and tempted to make food appear without effort. Sometimes it is so easy to just take the bread and not think about the consequences. The wider story is, what does Jesus choose to do? A rejection of the temptations to misuse power, worshipping Satan and demonstrating his ability to do miracles. Instead, this reading gives us a statement of his intention that's explored throughout his ministry. Jesus is clear that he is Messiah, but he's not a military leader or a magician. This week, we have Lent material from the Methodist Church in Britain that asks us to think about what nourishes us. This takes us back to the idea that Jesus was very hungry at this time. And there's an image that goes alongside this material of a brown paper bag, a brown paper lunch bag, helping remind us that we need nothing fancy, but simple things that put us in touch with our soul, help us to communicate with God, and energise us to share that gift of God's love with others. Amen.